Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about cryptocurrencies in a world of insane monetary policy. Central banks all over the world are increasing money supply massively to the extent that, for example, the European Central Bank balance sheet is almost 47% of the GDP of the Eurozone. In the case of the Federal Reserve, it is expected to rise to 50% of the GDP of the United States. Central banks all over the world have increased their balance sheet to more than $20 trillion. And this insane monetary policy that we continue to witness with huge cutting of rates, increases of money supply, generate weaknesses in currencies and the purchasing power of fiat currencies. We tend to look at the global monetary stability through the eyes of the US dollar because it's relatively stable, or the euro. But for emerging market economies, for most citizens globally, the reality of the collapse in purchasing power of their currency is absolutely evident year after year. It's not just a question of inflationary pressures, it is also the destruction of confidence in the domestic currency. For many citizens globally, there's very few possibilities for them to preserve the value of their savings or the real level of purchasing power of their salaries. So the alternatives tend to be either to purchase US dollars, to purchase gold, or to buy cryptocurrencies. That's why cryptocurrencies are viewed as a startup currency. They're not yet money. They are financial instruments that are close to being money, but not yet. They're not yet reserves of value or means of generalized payment or the unit of measure for monetary transactions. But the reality as well is that they are gradually becoming money, while they are less and less financial instruments in which speculators try to buy because they expect them to soar because of one reason or another. And this is an important factor. They're slowly, gradually taking a place in the monetary world as an alternative to fiat currencies. Even the US dollar, which has been relatively stable, shows signs of weakness in an environment in which the Federal Reserve takes very aggressive actions, even considering the global US dollar shortage. The reason to be outside of fiat currencies is because of the lack of confidence in global monetary entities and central banks and governments that trying to defend what they should be doing, which is defending the purchasing power of currencies and real salaries. The objective and the perverse incentive of many governments to try to inflate their way out of their problems generates this at least option that looks to be an alternative to fiat currencies. They're not yet an alternative, but they may as well be. What are the risks? The main risks are obviously what Hayek mentioned in the denationalization of money before the internet even existed, which is that the vast majority of cryptocurrencies may simply disappear. The second is that many of them have become very, very linked to the same things that they're supposed to be a measure to prevent. So they are too correlated with financial markets, and that sometimes can be a risk. Obviously, volatility and security are important factors, but those things are gradually improving, and something that was considered a fad or some kind of fashion a few years ago is now a reality. And central banks and governments need to pay a lot of attention to what is happening in the crypto world. They are in the wrong way. Many of them are saying that they're going to issue cryptocurrencies themselves. But a government-issued cryptocurrency, to be fairly honest, is an oxymoron. It makes absolutely no sense. It's a complete contradiction in terms, because the reason why citizens would want cryptocurrencies is precisely to be separate from government or central bank action. There is also the risk of confiscation, and the risk of legal intervention intention to try to prevent cryptocurrencies from taking hold as units of measure, means of payment, and reserve of value. But these things are happening very, very slowly. And what we can definitely say is that cryptocurrencies seem to be here to stay, that governments and central banks need to pay attention to this phenomenon and come back to sanity, at least to understand that the reason why cryptocurrencies exist should be a warning sign for them not to continue to test the limits of monetary policy. It's a very interesting debate and a fantastic opportunity to give more freedom to citizens to preserve the value of their assets and to preserve the purchasing power of their salaries. The alternative to fiat currencies may not be there yet, but it is gradually taking hold. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please subscribe to this channel, leave your comments below, and continue to defend freedom.